correct? Recorded?
That's right. The meeting's going to be recorded and will be available for viewing at the Town of DeWitt website in the future.
Thank you all. We had work sessions on Butternut Senior and Craven. Nick, do we have anything set up for the next meeting in April?
Peter, none are currently scheduled.
Okay, thank you.
Peter, just before we get to into the weeds, I just want to remind everybody, if you're not actively speaking, please mute your mics. I see some background noise here from Bonnie Strunk, so I just want to notify Bonnie that I'm going to mute the mic. You will have to unmute if you have anything to add to the discussion. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, so approval of the minutes. I'll make them. Could somebody make the motion to approve the minutes for our last meeting?
I'll move it, Peter.
Kathy?
I'll second.
Second. Leif, thank you. All in favor?
Nathan, aye.
If I,
Kevin,
Kathy,
aye. Kevin,
Doug,
aye.
Peter, aye. Okay, Verizon. Data
Sorry,
center.
I just want to make sure who's here. I have Nate, Leif, Kathy, Kevin, Peter, Doug. Was that everyone?
Yeah,
Was that-
Joe will be joining us shortly, I think.
Okay.
Thank you. Verizon. Stephanie, do you want to bring this to the finish line for us?
Right. I'd be happy to go over the recent changes that were made. There were various technical comments that were sent out, and they mostly addressed just some various tweaks and changes regarding the landscaping plan, pavements across the site, just separating the reserve parking strategy from the rest of the lot. We know that they were paring down their overall parking quantity quite a bit, so it was just kind of finessing what is being constructed as part of this project phase. We also received some building elevations, cross sections of the new wall conditions, and dumpster enclosure details, canopy details, and just clarifying what was happening within this utility staging area, which is intended to be permanent. There's a lot of apparatus that will be outside that will be screened by a new fencing. And that is going to be mounted to some bollards just to keep that in place. And I think that largely covers it. The applicant did a phenomenal job of responding to all of the outstanding technical comments. They got just about everything covered in one submission. There were some really minor details that we can cover in a minute. But I would recommend that the board approve this one with everything if that's their favor, without the lighting, because there's still some issues here that are out of code compliance, such as the lighting levels, spillage across the property line. And I think that there's a little bit more detail that's needed on the lighting fixtures in general. And I see that the applicant is here if they have anything to add to this.
Nothing new to add, Stephanie, just if we could find a way to meet with you and whoever we need to with our lighting designer to go over the issues that you just mentioned with the lighting. We'd like to do so and resolve them.
Okay,
Absolutely.
that'd be great. The planning board have any questions? We've talked about this. The applicant's done a great job, and I think we've made all the right moves. They've done everything. I like the screening, signage, and it's going to be a quality project. Any board members have any questions?
None for me.
none for me.
Okay.
No, I'm good.
Same. I'm good.
Joe's here. All right. I'm going to make a motion to approve the plan as presented with the following findings. The codes office has reported that the changes presented in the site plan are in general conformance with specific permit dated April 19th, 2010. With the changes herein presenting overall parking count that is reduced while maintaining reasonable green space. Further, the facility is a 24-hour facility as it's been for many years, so it's unchanged condition as it relates to the specific permit. The baseline parking in this plan is in conformance with the prior approval, such as the variance granted by the ZBA dated April 19th, 2010 regarding parking is intact and not changed, where this plan allows for the building of 29 spaces with only 23 spaces coming out of the previously set aside reserve. There is a reserve of 57% of reserve, whereas 28 is allowed. This board accepts the findings herein that the specific permit is intact and an additional public hearing is not required with this approval. Further, this plan, together with other submitted documents, site plan documents that have been signed by the planning board chairperson and the applicant, requires that all of the work shown be completed by the applicant in order for a certificate of occupancy or compliance to be issued. Any proposed changes, additions, or deletions to the scope of work materials by the site plan documents are not approved and are subject to further site plan review pursuant to Town of DeWitt Code, Section 192-122. Do you want me to mention anything, Jamie, about the lighting?
Yes, please, Peter, just add that to the end of the motion.
Yes,
No lighting.
back at the end of the lighting plan, this does not include the lighting plan, and there'll be a further study and approval process for the lighting plan. That's my motion. I have a second, please.
Oh, sorry, to that, Peter, I'd also like to add a possible condition regarding a change to the lot coverage calculation. It wasn't clarified if the area, when it was transitioned from sod to concrete, resulted in a revised calculation. And then I had discussed with the applicant a change in the type of tree that was proposed.
Okay. Is that showing in the plans?
No, not in this version.
Okay. We'll handle that administratively.
Oh, so if we can add to the motion, request that the applicant provide a recalculation of the lot coverage and address tree species with the administrative staff. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Now that's the motion. May have a second, please.
I'll second.
Leif, all in favor?
Kathy, I.
Nathan, I. Joe, I.
Kevin said aye. He raised his hand. Joe?
Doug,
Peter,
aye.
aye. Unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Don. All
Thank
right.
you so much.
The Lemoyne College. We've been through that. There's two. We just got some plans later this afternoon.
Yeah, the plan that you got later was for the second agenda item, which is the quad project. The first one is the back circle at Groen and Riley Halls.
Okay, are there any questions? Stephanie, do you have any issues? Well, you can't. The Lemoyne College, that's having to do, where Stephanie's recusing herself with EDR, and Mark is going to take this one in terms of its consultant.
Yeah, we don't have any issues. I believe they've worked everything out on this particular part of the Lemoyne project. So yeah, we don't have any issues with this.
Thank you, Mark. Does anyone else have any issues on the Groen Hall project? Hearing none.
Nope.
Make a motion to approve the plan as presented with the finding that this project fits well into the master plan of the college as reviewed and discussed with the board, and with the further condition, this plan together with the other submitted documents, site plan documents, have been signed by the planning board chairperson and the applicant, and requires that all the work shown be completed by the applicant in order for a certificate of occupancy or compliance be issued. Any proposed changes, additions, deletions to the scope of work or materials from the site plan documents are not approved and are subject to further site plan review pursuant to the Town of DeWitt Code, Section 192-122. That's the motion. May I have a second, please?
Nathan.
I'll second.
Nathan, oh,
Or
okay,
Kathy.
I got Nathan first.
Either or.
Just by the buzzer. You're
Rock, paper, scissors, Kathy.
and all in favor?
Nathan, I.
Kathy, I.
Joe, I.
Leif, aye.
Dan, yes.
Doug, aye.
Doug,
Kevin,
yes.
aye.
Okay, great. And Peter, aye. So that is approved. Mark, we just got the rest of the plans relative to the the work with the chief of the fire department and the subsequent changes that were made on the quad. You want to bring us up to date with that? That just appeared. You want to put that, can that go up on the screen? Step.
While he's pulling that up, I missed who made that motion in second, please.
That
Peter
was
moved and choose either Kathy or I, one or the other.
Nathan.
Okay.
Nathan beat it out just by a millisecond.
Okay.
We keep score at the end of the year. There's rewards for these. Okay, Mark, do you want to talk about what the issues were, or Andy? Either one can.
Yeah, I think it's going to have to be Andy. I just received this plan, and I think Andy's been involved with the conversations with the fire department. I have not. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I can discuss that. So we met up there Friday, Fouad and Sean Tompkins, myself, Steve was up there, and some members of the fire department. We brought the large aerial truck 3 up and made the swing through, I think it's Coyne and Nelligan, if I'm not mistaken, or Forey.
Correct.
I keep getting them confused. I apologize, but they were able to bring it up through the rear circle back there with no problem. They brought it up through the side, and when we spoke with Deputy Chief Tompkins, he highlighted an area that they would desire to set up that aerial if in fact they ever had an issue at Coyne Science Center. And desirably, they wanted to set that up in the front of the building so they could reach all parts of it with the aerial. On this plan is I don't know who's controlling it, but there's an upper portion there that they had put some, I believe, grass blocks in that both Deputy Chief Tompkins and myself had reviewed.
Up here.
We don't have any specific information as far as how much pressure those things will hold once the outriggers of the aerial truck are extended and dropped. We did get information from Philip Vandermolen, who is the Sutphin sales rep, and he gave us some information on the pounds per square foot that those things would actually need to have to accommodate the outrigger pressure when the aerial is extended. And I hadn't forwarded that on to Fouad yet, but barring the pressure that may be imposed on those locations of the grass block, the other issue was that Deputy Chief Tompkins really wanted 6 feet on each side for a total of 12. Because the truck is about 12 feet and each outrigger on each side extends another 6 feet. So there's another 12 feet. So the truck isn't unbalanced when they put the outriggers out. They would really desire to have that full 24, 22 at the very least space. We haven't really had a chance to review this or get the specs on how much pressure that those grass blocks will hold. So at this point, we're not really ready to make a comment on whether or not this is acceptable. I think there's still more review that needs to be done.
Andy, how much width is shown there right now?
22.
22. Okay, I see.
22. Yeah. So I mean, the 22, I think the 22 feet would work. I mean, that's a bare minimum, and that's kind of pushing the truck to one side.
I
Need some additional information as far as the compaction of those grass blocks and the maintenance of them.
Yeah, I'd like to see that at 24. I don't think.
Yeah.
we should
In the heat of battle, you're asking the truck driver to be perfect on spotting the truck if they're pulling up fast. So
Right.
especially in the winter.
Yeah.
So, but we could take care of this at a. I don't even know if it needs a work session, but we can. Andy, if you'd work with EDR and keep Mark in the loop, and we can get this one done at the next meeting.
Absolutely.
And that's fine. I mean, that's totally fine with us too. One of the issues is Chief Green's father passed away this week, so we haven't even been able to talk to him about this either.
Correct.
So, I think we may be sort of rushing it. So, we want to get this right.
Yeah, no, you as well.
Is this
Yeah.
the only location that it would actually be needed?
Yeah, this is when we were all there, everyone decided the other location has light poles and the trees are in the way and other issues. This was determined to be the best spot. And especially for the DeWitt fire truck, their ladder is off the back of the truck, and the way they would be parking there, their ladder would be able to access the building in the middle of it. So this was ideal.
Yep.
Okay, well, thank you.
I think it's pretty simple and solvable, and it board's leisure. I don't know if you wanted to go ahead with any kind of approval on this and make this administrative. The design itself isn't really going to change the aesthetics of it.
I mean, we're talking about
how's the board?
2 feet, right?
Yeah, 24 feet is what we needed, 24 feet, and whatever material they use need to be able to pass the pressure that's approved by the fire department and our engineers. Mark will weigh in on that as well.
Steve, can you speak to the pressure that the system can carry?
The grass pave is rated to 15,940 PSI for compressive strength. Andy, I'm not sure what the Sutphin rep gave you, but this is the material that's utilized by fire departments or municipalities when a fire access lane is needed.
Mm-hmm.
It's rated for the outriggers. It's rated for larger fire trucks, actually, 100-foot ladder trucks. So and I know that's all on paper, but that's the way the testing is done, is that it's rated to almost 16,000 PSI.
Well, and the chief said they would also be using the pads underneath that help spread the weight when they put this down. But if it's a matter of a dimension, we can certainly tweak the dimension.
Yeah, Steve, I would suggest, Steve, why don't you and I connect tomorrow if you're available, and we can certainly get this worked out.
Sure.
I think it's a beautiful project. It's just, despite the coldness of Friday, it was really a pleasure to walk through the project. It's really going to look nice, and we don't want to hinder that. We just want to make sure that we do get the fire department access for these buildings.
So do we, believe me.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I don't have, are you comfortable then just waiting to have the final approval on the quad at the next meeting after we have this passing the engineering and our code?
That's no problem, whether you want to do it that way or whether you want to pass it administratively and we work it out with Andy. We'll certainly come to a solution that works out for everybody. We have a long-term commitment to an excellent relationship with the fire department and the town. Your call.
Yep.
Jamie?
If it's not critical, I think if we can just wait and do an appropriate resolution, that might be a better idea. Since we just got that.
I like to keep our records clean, and I really don't want to do it on the fly. It is a great project and big improvement, and it's a very health safety issues. I just want to make the resolution, and if there was something that required time was of the essence, I would move it quicker. But let's just get Andy working with it and keep Mark in the loop, and we'll get this through the next meeting.
That's fine with us.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Andy, thanks for the time, and Mark, thank you very much.
Yep, no problem.
Cravick Drive, this is a recommendation to ZBA for the front yard setback and the floor area ratio. I think we've been through this a number of times. Jamie, is there anything else we should be aware of?
I think it's ready with the resolution that's been previously discussed and provided.
Yep. Okay, let me read that. Is there any comments from the board before I read the recommendation to ZBA? I think we've all been through this, but I'll give you one last chance to weigh in. Hearing none, let's go forward here. This is a proposed mixed-use project, which is proposed to under the quote new mixed-use overlay district of the town. The project requires two variances. Number one, section 193 of the town code requires that this mixed-use project building be located no closer than 16 feet and no further than 20 feet from the public road. The intent of the code is to create pedestrian-friendly area, which buildings that address the, with buildings which address the street as much as possible. This plan requires a variance, which allows it to be 24 feet from the public road and 4-foot variance. The board recommends this variance be granted to building 1 on this project, as the overall project and building design meets the intent of the code by providing the pedestrian-friendly access desired by the mixed-use overlay in a well-planned design. 2, the applicant seeks a floor area ratio area variance, which is based upon the site size in relation to the floor area ratio of the site, as shown on the plan and building B. And it's currently shown size and configuration. The ratio shown on this plan as to the building only is a 0.61, where the required ratio is 1.0. Per the code, although this variance accepts the finding of the board that in this suburban setting, the uses remain parking centric and the parking fields tend to be larger than would otherwise be an ideal for the multi-use project, particularly where there is significant residential use. This board recommends the 0.39 floor ratio area variance for this site. However, the second building and plan surrounding is not part of the planning board consideration at this time. May I have a second?
Hey, Peter.
Yes.
Peter.
Done.
Just for clarification, the drawings call it out as building A and building B versus
Okay.
building 1 and building 2. So we're talking about A.
We're gonna have to, Jamie, we'll talk about this afterwards.
Got it. Building A, got it.
Building B.
And
Thank
building
you,
C.
Doug. And thanks
Yep.
for the, bringing this up too earlier in the afternoon.
And Peter, is Rocky all set with the highway department with this configuration as well, or?
Yes, Rocky's all set, and so is Ed Michaelenko. They both were unanimously approved that parallel, and with a what do you call it at the end there?
In the event of a snow, is there alternating parking sides on a
Yeah,
town?
that was discussed.
Okay.
Andy, do you have anything else you want to add to that meeting you had with Rocky and?
Yeah, the only thing, I think there was some verbiage that was going to be in the right-of-way use agreement that Jamie had suggested was additionally, the applicant had agreed to eliminate or post that there wouldn't be any overnight parking on there during the winter months. And I think they were agreeable to that, so that should be included in it, as well as the hammerhead at the end of the road for the plow trucks to turn around and back out.
And that'll be put in the agreement.
Yeah, we'll hit that on the approval. This is just the recommendation. Good, Andy, thank you.
Correct. Yep.
I'll make notes of that.
Any other questions, Doug? Thanks. That's the motion. May I have a second?
Nathan will second.
All in favor?
Joe, I.
Nathan, I.
Doug, aye.
Kathy, aye.
Kevin, I.
Peter, I. Unanimous. Thank you. This is exciting. We have one other item that wasn't on.
Was there anyone from the applicant present that I should note on that? Okay, thank you.
This
Yeah,
is,
it looks like there's several.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
several.
okay.
Yep.
On the Kravik?
Yeah, we were kind of on a
Andy
roll, so they didn't want to interfere.
They didn't say anything. There, it was going their way, so they didn't want to talk. Andy Day, who else?
Hi, Jamie.
this is Christian Freeman from Keplinger Freeman Associates. Tom
Did we miss-
Courtier.
Did we miss anything?
Tom Courtier, anyone else? Okay.
Tom, thank you. Thank you.
Christian, last name,
Freeman, Freeman.
as in Keplinger Freeman? Gotcha. Okay.
Yes, Scott's my dad.
I just wanted to make sure I heard that right. Wasn't sure. Okay, thanks.
All right.
Thank
you all. And we'll move forthwith on the project B.
Yep.
Thank you.
We will. Thank you.
All right, just a short discussion on Geiger. I guess there was some misunderstanding that they thought they would be involved with the agenda tonight. And they're looking for basic direction from us. I think we're really close. What was the issue, Andy or Nick, in terms of what was needed to have them on the agenda?
Well, we just got the plan. I think that was the
Yeah.
issue, right? So we weren't ready for the approval, but they were anxious because they had a bidding process going out, Andy?
Yeah, I think they were going to try to send these out for bid tomorrow, but, and I didn't really understand the whole complexities of that. Is it, anything that we did wasn't going to change the bid on the building. And I don't think a couple of trees was going to really change it either, but, you know, I think there was some animosity that it was taking so long. We did discuss that in detail, that this involved a different municipality. It involved DOT. It had some stormwater issues that were involved. It had a subdivision that was, or re-subdivision that was involved. And I tried to explain that I think we're moving pretty quickly on it. I think it's being.
Excuse me, and variances before another board?
And variances before another board. And I really think that it's probably being pushed by the franchise more than the developer or the owner, trying to meet deadlines. But I said that we'd work with him. We'd try to get him what he needed. If it was a, you know, I'm guesstimating here, but I think probably 95% complete, where we could probably give him a foundation only permit if that would help. And they really kind of denied that. They really just wanted a full approval. I played my best hand, I think, but.
Well, let me ask you this. This would be just, Stephanie, can you summarize what we have left? And
Sure.
Jamie, just so that make the have the board recall exactly what it is that we're just looking at, and just make it an executive summary?
Sure. So when I look at the plans, I notice that they still haven't provided the breakdown between what they're allowed to have for their vehicle sales enterprise, and really separate their parking count between what they need for their business versus what they're selling. They also haven't submitted anything in regards to the signage aside from the conceptual architectural plans that just kind of show the arrangement on the building. We don't have like the square footage or any details relative to that. The lighting was, the lighting levels in general were pretty high with the last plan that we saw. And I think that there was also a request for vehicle circulation to be shown, just to get a better understanding of how that would work through the site, because they are removing the access. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought I had this up on the screen. They thought they were going to bring most of that access through Bridge Street originally, and now all of the circulation is going to come through Gulfster Road, potentially this one or this one. And then I just noticed this is pretty tight wrapping around the front of the building here, especially if there's a lot of traffic that would need to access this service bay over here.
All right, now, these are all
Stephanie, is that based upon like your quick review of what just came? Or is that your prior comments?
That's prior comments, and this is the plan that was just emailed through, and I'm not seeing that any of that was addressed. It does appear that this area, we've been discussing a transformer would be staged here, and there was some talk of like maybe kind of scooching that around to see if there was, you know, we thought this was the only place, but maybe moving it, shifting it north would be a better placement if they actually didn't need it here. So maybe that happened. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you were privy to this, but my discussions with them was that they were eliminating the transformer. It was going to be put on poles.
Didn't realize that. Okay.
Yep.
Well, that takes care of the issues.
Yep.
Also, there was some talk about the approach into the site. Now kind of being, you're showcasing the back half of the building that was going to be like kind of like the shop half. And we had discussed having them tie that together a little bit better, because it does segment. I'm not sure exactly where it is on this plan. I think it's just to the right of these overhead doors, but it's kind of, you get the front dressed up side, and then it transitions very sharply to, you know, just an insulated metal panel without any like relief or just a flat wall. And I think we had talked about breaking it up in some way.
Well, these are manageable. Clearly, do you want to do a work session? I mean, I don't want to hold this. If we could get your comments out to them tomorrow or Monday, and Andy and Nick, if you could follow through with them, if they think they need a work session, that's fine. If they can resolve these, and if the board has any other comments, I thought we were 95% done as well, but the last 5% is the real deal. So, Kevin, any comments? More, Leif, anybody?
So they'll be in for a work session next cycle?
Well, either that or they resolve these, with their consultants can communicate, Andy can communicate these questions. If they can get them done, they won't need a work session. I'd like to see it, but if they feel like they do, or they have some other thing to present, then we'll have a work session.
I think these could be addressed, administratively.
I think so too. So I'll charge you, the consultants and Andy and Nick and Stephanie and your team and Mark to let's get this on top of this and get them on the agenda next.
I didn't have a chance to look. Have they sent the access easement? And maybe they did, but this came in so late I didn't check my notes.
I think that's the problem. And Nick, maybe you can chime in here, but I think they've been kind of sending a lot of these amendments piecemeal, and we really need to have a full set of plans that reflect all of this.
Okay.
I just don't remember that I saw it. I remember it being talked about.
That may have come with the subdivision, actually.
That's right. And a lot of this has been coming through electronically just for initial internal review, but we haven't really received a formal submission.
Well, we received a formal subdivision application though, right?
A concept submission, correct. And then they were revising some plans, but they haven't made a full submission that meets the requirements to get on an agenda, is what I was trying to.
Okay. So that would be great if they could do that and include their proposed easement and everything, and so that we can review it and get it approved. It is a simple division. It doesn't need public hearing, but they need to get us more than 5 minutes before the meeting.
Yeah, Andy, just relay that to them. I don't think any of the board members have any issues with the concept, with the just a couple tweaks that Stephanie mentioned, and we should be good to go. I don't know that it'll require a work session if we can get this done administratively first.
Okay.
Did ZBA approve?
Yes.
Okay.
That was perfectly timed. So any other issues? Okay, well, I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
I don't know, you're allowed to do that, but okay. Who was the second? Nate, 100%
Sure.
on the seconds, okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Well, enjoy
Thank you.
the beautiful day and the wonderful weekend and the sunset. Thank you all.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Good night.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.